Welcome again to the Was This Atlantis presentation.
There's a location in the Western Sahara Desert of Mauritania called the Richat Structure.
Did you go there personally?
No, so I have. In fact, let me give them a shout out. David Stig Hansen went there. It is a gutsy trip.
There's so much that points to that possibly being Atlantis.
I'm David Stig Hansen. I've been to the Richat Structure 3 times now. I'm driven by an urgent need to share a discovery that might just redefine our understanding of our forgotten past. I've started as a Google Earther in this region, but today I've put my boots on the ground to explore what appears to be evidence of a megalithic primordial advanced civilization.
In a previous life, David Stig Hansen wrote a book in Taipei under the pen name Gitz Ferrari called Not SARS Just Sex, a non-porn, non-sex tourism look at life in Taipei during the SARS outbreak of 2002. This book doesn't just draw parallels, it literally demonstrates that the COVID-19 narrative is almost a repeat of the SARS 2002 narrative, highlighting both the Wuhan lab and wet market origins of Patient Zero. Not SARS Just Sex is available for free on Amazon Kindle. The sequel, The Oil Sands of Alberta, is also available, and a third book is on the way. Stay tuned for more adventures, and don't forget to subscribe and share.
Stop what you're doing and subscribe immediately to David Stig Hansen's YouTube channel at youtube.com/@Stig. If you're interested in uncovering one of the greatest mysteries in history, this is the place to be. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button right now. After you've subscribed, make sure to like and share the videos to help spread this groundbreaking information.
Hello. We're going to do a microphone test. I need some comments. Please give me some feedback. Hey there. Wow, Rebirth of the Word is in the house. Let's go. I was just going to do a quick video, but if you're going to join up, it could last all afternoon. Who's Gitz? AKA Guts? Oh, AKA Gitz. What is my middle name there? I hear the Roadrunner outside crying. So maybe that'll be distracting, but let's just try to get through some of this information here. I mean, I'm ready to go side by side. I'm ready to go with not just topographical Google Earth. Sorry, I meant to say regular mapping Google Earth compared to the topographical. Let's hear, how is Stig is Gitz. Gitz is Stig. Stig backwards. Thank you, 757, for joining. I definitely want to, before getting into side-by-side mapping, use this my Facebook page to join to go over stuff we found recently. Like I just saw Rebirth of the Word. Your video was called what we have right now as far as the understanding of our ancient civilization. I saw that video you did, and it kind of inspired this idea a little bit. I've been thinking about it. I'm supposed to go to work in a few minutes, but I figured I'd get online and do a quick live stream. We got this undisclosed location in the desert. It's kind of cold. That's why I'm wearing the hood. And yeah, the sunglasses help me see the screen a lot better. Thank you, Jason, for the sunglasses, the gift. All right, so if you don't know about my Facebook page, Was This Atlantis? Pretty easy to find, right? Facebook.com/Was This Atlantis. It's my clearinghouse for everything I found. I used to have a different one, and I put it all in here. I think I can hide this. Is that showing? I don't want that to show. Sheesh. Ruined my video. Welcome, and thank you for joining. I'll just start again, right? I'll just start again. Thank you. Let me turn the music back on. Just joking. It's almost 10 a.m. here in California. Now, let's go into what I want everybody to see. Even if I disappear from this earth tomorrow, I want people to understand certain things about the Richat structure. Now, I've recently done a lot of Plato videos. I don't need to get into what Plato said in this, but what I do need to get into is the possibility of the Richat structure being Atlantis. There is this 50-mile long canal going through the Adrar Plateau, pointing right at the mouth of the Richat structure. Now, I've shown this before, but I don't have a lot of memes, and if people don't look at my old videos, then they don't know what they don't know about this stuff, because YouTube stifles it. YouTube doesn't re-show it. So once I show it once, it disappears. So I need to show it again. So I need to talk about this, and I do think I've discovered it. If you look at my presentations, some Russians also found it. They went there and they found something. So look into my videos on the subject. Another thing we should be talking about is the second concentric circle structure. It's right there. We can go there. Now, if I back out of this, I think we can actually, oh wait, that's the wrong one. Let's go down here. We can actually find it. Okay, so I've got it here for you in the Was This Atlantis group page. It's a Facebook page. Okay, and here it is. There's that structure. And if you want to go look at it yourself, use the link at the Was This Atlantis page on Facebook. Now, as you can see, right in the middle of this structure, we have this, you might call it a fissure. I think it's a canal. Fissures usually don't turn. Okay, fissures go in straight lines. Sometimes they have correlating, fissures. Look at all the different attributes here. This thing jiggles up and down. I think this is a sand dune, but when you get in close to it, it does look like it's also a canal of some sort. You kind of see a wall here, like this canal went over that canal. That doesn't make a lot of sense when it comes to canals. This is how wide. If you look at the measuring tape, we can see that this thing is, this so-called canal, is about 50 meters, 60 meters wide. Okay, that is how many football fields? If you've got 100 yards in a football field, this is like not quite a football field, is it? It's like half of a football field. If you think a meter and a yard is the same distance, which it isn't. All right, how are we doing? Thank you for joining everybody in chat. And can't post comments to some destinations. That's okay. What else is there? While streaming, viewer comments won't show up unless the stream. All right, whatever. I don't need to see that. Show comments on stage. No, we don't need to do that. Yeah, maybe I should do that. It doesn't matter because I don't have very many comments coming through. I didn't even get a background check, a mic check. So, but 757 did hear my explanation. The microphone's down there, and that's why I'm kind of worried about it. I just didn't want it on the desk anymore. So I moved it down there, and I think it separates it from the speakers a little bit more. Okay, let's get those comments in on some of these global terraform structures we need to know about. Nearby, I showed other stuff. Let's look at the Facebook again real quick. I went through these pictures already. We can get rid of that. Let's look at this thing. Now, this thing is very close, and if you want to go there, we can just click the link and go there. I get a reaction on Facebook from Michael. Thanks for that. It's actually not on the YouTube though. So here again, this thing is a polygonal. Why do I say polygonal? Because we have more than one side in these cuts. This place, if I zoom out, is just north of the Richat Structure, kind of northeast, obviously, and it's in Algeria. And then you zoom in here and you get these weird walls around it, these weird curves. These curves that you can see at this level are like holding in, I think they're settling ponds of some sort. I think that they were trying to create lakes with these walls. Hey, thank you, 757, for checking in and getting me. Yeah, I'm glad you can hear me. I hope I'm clear. So this thing is about a mile wide, not just the one plateau, but all these plateaus together, they're about a mile, maybe a little bit more if you add them all up. But they've got these weird multi-directional parallel cuts going through the tops of the plateau. I've already theorized this is the removal of, how do you say, overburden. Overburden is the unwanted part of the content that's on top of the mountain. You want to get down to a vein. I recently met a guy who was working in the iron mines of Minnesota, is it? At the north end of the state? Or is it Missouri? I can't remember, but it's one of those two places. They've got this iron vein in one of the largest iron mines in the United States and maybe even the world. They do this, but they don't do it with laser. I mean, this looks like it was done with laser beams or something. Maybe chemical processes where they just put a line at the top with some chemical. I have a lot of different things that could have been done here. And you can kind of see the polygonal shapes all the way down here too. So it's not like it just stopped. It's just that it's not as prominent. Something else happened. Maybe some other event covered it up. And then you've got the big wall on the north side here. And this thing goes around and it creates this big reservoir area. Look at that junction. So you've got the wall going north-south, but you've also got this junctioning east-west wall there. That's just not explained in normal geology or geography for that matter. I mean, that would be unnatural in my opinion. Let me get my picture out of here. We'll just put the big thing here. Okay, now I'm trying to show you through the. Okay, this is. Oh, I guess you are seeing these notifications. Okay, hello, Lubor and Michael P. Richards. Thank you for your reactions. And this is really the first time I've shared it on my Facebook as well. So that's the reason why I'm getting the reactions in Facebook. Now, I have from the beginning shown you these strange walls that go across the Sahara Desert. Let me get rid of this thing again. And this one, I don't know how you can describe that, whether it's a wall or a city, but I think this is an amazing thing. If you want to know where this is, you just go to my Was This Atlantis? We can, let me just go there first right here, click on the link and open it right up. We'll close those other ones but don't be one of those people that say, you've got too many tabs open. Clear search results. Do I want to clear search results? I don't think so. Okay, so it's just one spot in the middle of the Sahara Desert that I'm showing you, right? It's over to the east side. Hopefully we can zoom right back into the same spot. And you can definitely some kind of activity. And hey, maybe it's more modern day. Maybe it's not 10,000 years old. I think a lot of this stuff is way older. It's part of the whole Atlantis story. It's located in Atlantis. Oh, by the way, if you didn't realize it, we found Atlantis, right? I mean, I don't have to repeat this. We found Atlantis. Oh, I'm not looking at the screen. I can look at the screen. Okay, does that help? We found Atlantis. We found Atlantis. It was right where Plato said the whole time. It's in the Atlas Mountains, Mauritania. But I also believe that the concentric circles are part of that. Okay, why is he wearing weird glasses? Maybe those glasses are helping. Look at this stuff. How old is this stuff out there in the middle of the Sahara Desert? And does it look advanced? You know, it's funny when you see this line here and it comes close to this line and then moves away. I mean, that just doesn't have a natural explanation there. And then you have this is Main Street right here. This is Main Street, okay? That's probably Broadway up there. And I'm telling you that there's typical streets that go through towns. The main street, the main drag, and then these side streets. That's probably the biggest one is probably First Avenue, Second Avenue, maybe Third. All I'm saying is that you see the same things that we're doing with roads. What's going on top of this? Is that people driving that made those lines? That's interesting right there. It's an amazing, very amazing thing when you go out into the middle of the Sahara Desert. And let's take a look nearby. Do you see anything over here? Sometimes I find stuff live. It's quite exciting. So I didn't see anything in here. You can see big sand dunes, and you can see down below, I don't want to say Playa Lake here, but the flood basin, that's where you see this stuff. It's getting covered up. It's going underneath the sand dune. Look, you can see it coming out the other side over here. Okay, so it's a lot younger. I mean, the sand dune is a lot younger than whatever's on top of it. And over here, maybe we can find more stuff real quick. You can go there yourself by following my link. And it's in the description. Even in the Facebook, I left it. Link to things I've found. And you can go there. If I'm gone off this planet, you can still get a look at some of this stuff without me giving you live presentations on it. All right, there's that one. And yeah, you could probably find so much more if we take the time. Let's go up here and look at this one. Anything in here? Yes, there are a few of these lines in here. Now, these ridges, if you don't understand the explanation from mainstream geology, they're so-called volcanic dikes. Nothing else explains this, except for, of course, what I think is that it's man-made or it's unnatural. I shouldn't even say men made it. It could have been giants. There's stuff all over the Sahara. You know, I've shown it a million times, but I'll just go over here in Mali. Sorry, that's not Mali. That's Chad. And look at these lips. So when you back out, you see the Englishman. You see his face. And you just zoom in anywhere here and you find stuff. Just want to make sure... okay, I'm off the screen. I see. Good, I can pick my nose while I'm talking. Here's some more interesting perpendicular canals. And when I say perpendicular, I mean to the main stream, the main... it's not really a road there. That's a canal. That's a river. And I've shown this a million times. You know, like I say, I think things are all over. If you don't know where Egypt is between Asia and Libya. So don't think that the story of Asia and Libya combined comes from Greek. They're not up there saying, oh, it's bigger than Asia and Libya. No, that was the Egyptians saying it was bigger than Asia and Libya combined, because Asia is over here on one side of them and Libya is over here on the other side. That is Asia and Libya combined. Egypt's right in the middle of those two spots. So it didn't come from Plato. It came not even from Solon. It came from the hieroglyphics on the Temple of Sais. Okay, thank you, Rebirth. I'm glad you're still here. I am trying to catch up with you. You've been going crazy with your lives. And this is that place I just showed. The whole mountain has been terraformed. Whatever this thing was, it was gathering water from the terraformed mountain. And you can go in here and see you've got more main drags. When I call it a main drag, it's something super long with a bunch of tertiary rivers. This one, they're all coming into this big one, but you can see all the parallel lines in between. And that's more of a natural river. It still has water. Look at that. But when you back out, you can see all the ancient waterways. What's this one all about? So that's Chad. I didn't really want to focus on just one place, and I've already talked about these places enough. If you don't know Africa, I've always started down here. South Africa, Lesotho, right here. All sorts of stuff going on. And we'll look at that in the topographical. Then up here, the Kalahari canals. If you're not familiar with those, these long, straight canals over 250,000 square, I think kilometers, but maybe miles, whatever. And then as you get up here, we have the deep jungle, or I don't even know what you could call it. It doesn't really look like jungle. It's just like a forest. There's water. Not a lot of terraforming. Let's get this out of here and go there real quick. Let me put this up here so I can see it. I've got both side by side so we can use each part of it. If you don't know what I'm using, Google Earth is on the left and the Cal Topo is on the right. My Cal Topo always opens up at Pie Town. If you don't know what that is, just go straight to Pie Town, New Mexico. Funny thing about New Mexico, I just found out that New Mexico is older than Mexico. So Mexico is the New Mexico to the New Mexico. Where was the original Mexico? You got to do your research on everything. You can't just trust names like New Mexico. That's a good question, though. We should ask. Let's ask the question real quick. I just learned this, so let's find out. We'll go to. I have both. I hated ChatGPT after a while. I just found out that New Mexico is older than Mexico. What's up with that? And where's the original Mexico? Since the New Mexico must be a new form of an older Mexico.
That's such a fun historical tidbit. The name New Mexico actually comes from the Spanish explorers in the 16th century who named it after the Valley of Mexico, where Mexico City is located. At that time, the region that we now call Mexico was already well established, and the name New Mexico was intended to reflect that it was a new territory similar to the old Mexico.
All right. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, I'll check into that more later. Now that we are in New Mexico, and if you can look here, you see these long ridges. Now, I just showed these to you in Africa, but now I'm going to remind you that they also exist here in the United States. These ridges are coming from mountains. I think they were either transport roads of some sort. Maybe they were just walls, because I think that they were controlling. This is the Continental Divide right here. So they were controlling the watersheds of the Pacific and the Atlantic. I don't know if they were doing that on purpose, but they were certainly stopping rivers or damming rivers. You can see a river go right through this one, and then up here, the other one has the same activities going on. Right here, there's a river, and the wall's gone. Now, perhaps the wall was built to put the river there, and there was never a wall there. They left the gap on purpose. Look at this little dot. What's that all about? And why is it connected to this? Here's a little side. I call it, okay. Now, this is something I never saw before. Very interesting. See, I always discover stuff during the live stream. Let's find that again. Wow, I lost it already. Right in this river, you can see another little wall there, but it's so, like, either it washed away, and there's a little modern-day reservoir there. This one right here, I'm going to grab the place, and then I'm going to put it over here so we get the exact location. Hit enter. Okay, there it is. So what do we got there? You can barely see it. You can barely see it. So they must be using LiDAR over there. And here's the other funny, weird thing. When you zoom in, it looks like it's a canal or a road, you know? And you can see like two edges on each side. But here, it looks so much more like just a single ridge wall, you know? Although it's kind of not, it's not generating very clearly here. So it's actually up in the air. But when we look at the real thing, we can really see some, like, it's like a little, I don't want to say canal, but it's got like a little double edge road, and it goes on for quite a distance. And I wouldn't say that that was a road. It's just unreasonable to think that, unless it was part of a main road that went to the mountain. I do think that this was more water control here. Thank you for joining, and thanks for those comments. Rebirth of the Word is in the house. Met him over at Cosmic Summit, and now he is becoming a X/Twitter superstar. Over there, I saw a bunch of comments, and then we were there together with Pillars of the Past. Okay, guys, you're not going to believe me, but I had a psychic intuition 2 days ago. You're not going to believe me, but this really happened to me. I believe in psychicness. I just don't like it when it's used like, you can't go to the poker room with psychicness and win. Unfortunately, it's used to give you bits and pieces of information that are probably important to your soul. So I woke up and I'm like, who's next on Joe Rogan? And I said, it got to be Pillars of the Past. It's going to be up next. Swear to God, the same day, suddenly, guess who was on Joe Rogan? Pillars of the Past. That was I guess let's pull it up. So a little bit of okay, I gotta scratch my nose. Sorry, it's gonna get a little picking. Just been bugging me. I got that little buzz at the tip of my nose. Okay, let's get back into this. Going to what I want to show you next. Around the world, global terraforming is definitely probably. I was trying to get to South Africa one time, but I don't want to go over all the things I found in South Africa. If you go down here to South Africa and you go to Lesotho, let's just go to the whole South Africa. Let's just look at the whole thing. And then let me just do the same thing with Cal Topo. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my nose bugging me. It's just tickle, tickle, tickle. Circulation of some sort. Very scary. Life is scary. Well, I'm getting a lot of fluctuation with my viewers. I really appreciate any new viewers quickly subbing before they go. All right, is that it? That's it. Now, I do think that something big was going on down here. And it starts with Lesotho. If you don't know, the Orange River, which this is like the outlet of the Orange River, maybe I should do this and I should turn on some exploration details like that. That's better. Okay, so as you can see, which river is this? Is that the Orange River? Or is he going to tell us? Yes, that's the Orange River. Believe it or not, the Orange River starts across the whole continent in Lesotho. And you can see structures all around that river. So I do believe that these rivers were used for hydrological mining purposes. I do have my coffee, and yes, I put some half and half. Here you can see up the panhandle of, what's the name of this country? This is Namibia. The panhandle of the country is where you can find all those. There's the inland delta, and I think that's a very interesting thing. The inland delta. Let's go to Sodido Hills right here. Can I get the? What I want is I want to see the numbers. Let me try it this way. Get info. There we go. And now we can copy the location, and then we put the location. I don't know. Maybe the other one would have worked in here. Maybe they work with each other. I'm not a paying customer. So these are called the, let's get the name again, the Sodilo Hills. Let's get back to the satellite image of it, because this is right where the Kalahari Canals is. And if you didn't know about the Kalahari Canals, you got to go check them out. I've measured it. This is above, like, here's a question about these hills here. When you've got all these straight canals, which I believe are not natural, and they're about a mile apart, just like Plato said when he talked about the level plain that surrounds the capital city of Atlantis, he talked about the parallel canals about 10 stadia apart. Well, how many, I mean, I know it's not exactly a mile. And when you get over here into the, you can kind of see the topographical lines here. They look like sand dunes here, don't they? But they're not sand dunes. They're. I mean, you can always say that's natural if you want, and that those are clearly sand dunes. But when you look at the fact that it covers 250,000 square miles or kilometers, whichever it was, and there's a lot of cool places you can visit. Here's some caves. Let's take a look at some of these. Can we make them big? I have to ruin my, what's under here? Okay. These are the caves that are around there. You're not talking about sand dunes. You're talking about bedrock. They don't make caves in sand dunes unless that sand dune has turned into, so look at all those bats. This is bedrock. It's not, these are not sand dunes. And if you have a sand dune turn into bedrock, that you're talking about millions of years. I don't believe you see that with the Google Earth shots that we have here. Let's take a look at all this. Let's get rid of that. That was kind of boring. I just never saw that. And you can see here some water event, some flood washed away everything and created a new floodplain down here. So you can see that happening right there. That whole cliff, that's an escarpment, right? That's an escarpment. But those canals come up against it, and you can still see some of the canals were here too. So do you think that those canals existed here, or they just stopped? I believe they existed here. Let's get that over here. We can always look at the topographical version of this. Let me zoom out a little bit, get that delta right in the middle. And you can see that delta very clearly. Where is it? Maybe not. You can always go over, what's that? I guess I can't find it. There, I got, okay, I'm stuttering, so I guess I got myself lost. Just look at this bulge over here, and then you know that it's the delta, and there's, you can see that line here, that line here. So you know the delta is right in between there, right there. You can barely see it, and so this is where we've got to double down on our LiDAR technology. You can see there, you can see the escarpment, finally. That's that escarpment I just mentioned, and then where is it down here? I always get lost. Oh, there it is right there. So it goes up to the delta. So there is the delta, right? That's okay. That's that. You can totally see those 5 fingers right there. Those 5 fingers right there. So if you go directly east, you're still south of the delta. So we'll have to back out just a little bit more. I just wanted to find the main riverbed, and I'm not even seeing it. It's very frustrating. I guess it's right there. There you go. There you go. That's the main riverbed of that. I call it a delta. You might disagree, but it's an inland delta because of the shape. Although, I don't know which way this water's running. I guess it's running this way, and it's going towards the ocean this way. All right, let's get on to the next thing. That's the Kalahari Canals, and it's definitely a mystery. I didn't even go over South Africa because I've gone over it so many times. But if you do look at South Africa, with the topography going on, you see some crazy stuff right off the bat. And I'm going to be looking around here, south of Lesotho. You just see stuff that's just unexplained by normal geological mainstream explanation doesn't really apply here. When you start to see these structures, and they all have the same rough mountain on the left, but there's these straight lines on the right, and it creates maybe a reservoir for some type of mass settling or leaching of chemicals. We fantasized it was gold, but I think it was more than just gold going on by humans, maybe, or was it by somebody bigger, giants? You can say Nephilim, but we know that David and Goliath, that giant was pretty tall, right? How tall was Goliath? Like almost 30 feet tall, 28? They didn't explicitly say that he was one of the Nephilim. And where did he live? Oh, well, he was a Philistine. That means he was a Palestinian, modern day Palestinian. Isn't it interesting? When I was in Morocco and I heard right after the Gaza conflict, people saying Philistine this, Philistine that in Arabic. And I was like, are you saying Palestine? So it's the same word. How is it that the word Philistine is still the same word, but in English we have different words? That's Lesotho right there. You can see Lesotho. Lesotho has that's where the Orange River starts. It's right up here. And there's so many things going on around here. I've already shown you. We can zoom in and probably start to find some of them. Whoa. Lots of ridgy mountains, but as you get closer, that's modern day roads. I wouldn't get excited about that. What I wanted to show you is this thing, and to see if we could find that. I have my Stig's Mound over here. Let's get Stig's Mound. If you don't know what Stig's Mound is, get info. It's this mound that exists. Okay, let's just put it in. Here, let me zoom in there, and I'll show you Stig's mound. I discovered it. I don't see any names on this mound. Who lives there? Nobody's on top of this mound. I've showed this mound a few times. Let's go look at the topographical map. I should probably be showing this every time because I do believe this is a pyramid structure. Let me hit the enter button. All right, there it is. And of course, another thing you should know about this mound is it's aligned with these two other things behind it there and here. They're all aligned, right? So let's look at that alignment right here. And, oh, there it is. So unfortunately, yeah, you can see that there's two mounds that I just said. These two mounds are back here. And then this mound, I mean, let's see if we can get a straight line going with this. Let's just line, a distance. Okay, I don't use this very often. What's that? Okay, that's weird. Let's try to get a line going right through here and see if it goes right through my mound. No, it kind of failed. Let's try it again. See, this is why I always got to check myself. You know, I don't claim it's always perfect. How do I get out of there? Oh, it's again. Oops. Okay, let's try that again. Let's go through this part of the mound, hitting the line again. Great. And going about here and going this direction, right through the center and the back of it. But the back of it's a little tweaked, right? Let's just go over to our other mound. Does it all line up? It kind of all lines up here. I got to double click to get out of there. Okay, it's kind of stupid to do that, and then my line disappears. All right, whatever. Let's look at it again over here. We can look at it here. There's those two mounds. There's even a little ridge going straight down here that cuts through. Okay, so there is some kind of a line. And what's going on with the top of that mountain right there? That's just weird, right? That's just weird. And if you don't know what that is, it's right in here, right there. This shows two little peaks. And I can't angle this, so we can also look at the angle on the compass of all this. Here's that other thing. Actually, this is it. There's the angle of the compass down there. I don't have it perfect. Let me get it there. Now, as you can see all around here, there's other little ridges and lines going on here, okay? I know that they're not that apparent, but I'm seeing them like this one right here. Very curious, right? That little thing right there. Well, what that is that's part of a long line system. And I'll show you my mound is right here. That's my mound. I claim it. Yeah, there's a couple houses. Those little white specks are houses, and yeah, the tail is tweaked. I don't know what's going on back there. But the front is very symmetrical. You can really see when you look straight at it how those two mounds align with it way back there. So if you were to stand on top of that, you'd be looking, if you look here, kind of northeast. So it does kind of follow that ancient 45-degree offset alignment that I've shown you in the past. Maybe I should be putting this one along with them because that happened in the Richat Structure and it happened in Utah. They all kind of have that same angle. Here it doesn't show it very much. It's showing about halfway between. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, take a look at there's two different ancient axis theories. The one I'm talking about is it called Sharpshooter Mound 1 and 2 in Utah. All right, let's get out of South Africa first. There you can see Mulehale's Hook. You can see this line here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's pretty easy. Make sure you're north-south. Reset it to north. And then just take a look at this edge of Lesotho. That's South Africa. And look at this long, 20-mile long channel. And when you get up here, these two walls switch places. What? Yes, they switch places. Take a look. This wall up here turns right and goes over here and curves, and now it's on the south side. And this wall, it just goes straight, and now it's on the north side. What up with that? How would the channels create like that naturally? Okay, and there's always the so-called settling pond at the end of the channel. And this one looks like it breached, and then stuff ran this way. Get Michael Tellinger to talk about this. Michael Tellinger doesn't usually talk about such big stuff. He's talking about Adam's calendar. Well, where's Adam's calendar at? It's right up here. Adam's calendar is right here, and his stone circles are everywhere, but Adam's calendar is right here, and you see it right there. There's a lot of stones right there. They've kind of fallen over. That's the road to get there, and you can see if you go to look at some of the photos, which are down here, you can see this one shot that you can from right here. Where's the photos? Oh, is it gone? There it is. Yeah, but okay, see, that photo was taken from here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, there's a lot of photos now. There's Adam's calendar. Let's enlarge this for our viewers' pleasure. If you didn't know where Michael Tellinger's Adam's calendar is located, see, I originally had a photo taken from that cliff over there. I didn't take it. I've never been to South Africa, but I had an image I've been sharing because they didn't really see. There's the image, and there's the shot. There's Adam's calendar over there, and there's the other cliff. That's Adam's calendar. Interesting stuff. It's the Stonehenge of South Africa. That's not it. That is a stone circle that Michael Tellinger showcases. It's a different thing, that circle, not the same thing as Adam's calendar, okay? All right, yeah, let's get out of Adam's calendar. Those stone circles are everywhere. Now, the stone circle, here's the stone circle. We still think that because they were circles within circles, I think that the outer wall was created to protect whoever's on the outside from getting in there and messing and getting poisoned or getting, it's not about they're going to steal any gold. They're processing this stuff just like we process concrete, okay? Just like we process other usable things from the mines, like iron. I mean, it's not like the gold was, I believe that gold was not as valuable as it is now. $5,000 an ounce, right? That's expensive. I mean, come on. It doubled in price in just the last few years, from my understanding. I have to take another look at the chart. All right, so that was Adam's calendar. Let's get rid of these photos. I don't need that. Turn the photos off. We might turn them back on. All right, let's just say there's so much stuff here in South Africa that I don't have enough time to go over it all again. We can go over to Madagascar. Take a look at my previous videos on South Africa. Madagascar, let's go over and look at it under the topographical. There's this one place that I used to visit before I had CalTopo. It's up here at the top. Where's that circle at? Can we find it? It's a circular dike. Let's go to look at the regular picture. Where is that? Now, see, this is the thing. I thought it was a cut. And then when I started doing the topographical research, now I'm not finding it at all. Is that Madagascar? Where's the circle? Oh, there it is, right there. It's a lot smaller than I remember. All right, so let's go there under the, there it is, right there. Now, as you can see, there's another one that's started to form over here. Why are there always two? And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Egypt has two. Let's go up and look at that real quick. But we're going to go back to Madagascar. Trust me, I'm not going to fail you. Here's Egypt. And right at the corner of Egypt, you've got these two right down here. And I think that those were some kind of a road, transport road. And these two pillars were created on both sides. I know that seems pretty far-stretched, but take a look at my third book I'm writing called The Mountain Builders. Let's get my mug out of here and focus just on the... Let's go back to Madagascar. But yeah, that's the two pillars at the corner of Egypt. And I just find them so interesting how they enter the Sahara at the bottom corner. There's so much more. This is the terraformed, the lips. Look at how terraformed these mountains are. And they are terraformed. I've shown you this a minute ago. I don't know why I didn't show you this version of it. And then down here you can find more right there. This version of it. I think that's like the smoking gun that proves it's unnatural. Then the nearby mountains, you can see how terraformed those rivers are nearby. This is all in Chad again. We're leaving Chad. Yes, these things look like volcanoes, but the surrounding area certainly doesn't look like a volcano. Okay, we're going back down to Chad. I'm sorry, I meant to say Madagascar, and we're going to look at this little circular dike here because where is it? Right there, right in front of us. As we get closer, you see other circles. You see this circle over here. I never knew about this one. That's over here. Wow, let's get in close. Right there. Wow. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look like the thing that's basically the Richat Structure's twin out in the middle of the Sahara? But this is totally degraded. Are you going to call that a crater? It doesn't look like a crater. So the rivers on top of it look like that kind of erosion. Very interesting, right? I've never even seen this before because I've always been over here looking at this other one. We have this little mountain. I'm going to say there's a lot of other weird stuff going on in Madagascar. Look at this one down here, that circular. I'm going to call it a circular dike. That's what I think is the geological explanation. You can kind of see that it's not quite circular. Looks just like that one in Egypt, doesn't it? Honestly, I want to go side by side, but I can't. Let me duplicate this, and let's go back up to the Egypt one. Who talking? Who dat? Someone talking to me? Okay. I thought that was somebody not related to this. I gotta check. Okay. Let's go back and look at Egypt, like I was saying, because I think that the shape is just so similar. You know, these two dikes are almost the same angle. Like, does that mean that they were also an old axis, an old north-south? We're going into Egypt, and we're going to go down to the corner here. Look at this. Look at that. Doesn't that look similar? Isn't there a similarity there? This is Lesotho. I'm sorry, not Lesotho. This is Madagascar. And then this is Egypt, the corner of Egypt. Part of that's in Libya. And it just feels like it's the same angle. It's the same ancient angle. Let's look at the angle here and see what the compass looks like. See, look at that. That compass is the same, what I call a northeast 45-degree angle of an ancient axis that I've been looking at for many years now. And I say that because of the stuff I found in the Richat, the stuff I found in Utah, the mounds in Utah. Maybe is that it? Okay, so there you go. It's not perfect, and I'm not going to try to talk about this all day long here. Let's get back to north-south in Madagascar. I don't have a lot of comments. I have a lot of viewers at this time. If you don't know much about me, I'm the dude that went to the Richat Structure 3 times. I've been to Mauritania 4 times. That beats out all the other YouTubers. Graham Langdon was the first YouTuber to get there, and he's only been to Mauritania twice. Ha 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 ha. I'm just teasing. He technically went back to the eye 2 times, but I did that too, man. So come on now. All right, there's that thing again. So let's go to the big one. Let's go to the big one. And the big one is here. Now, let's get into the big one. Titan's shoe print right in the middle of there. Okay, now we start to see something weird. And it was Zero Control showed this to me. Thank you, Zero Control. Shout out. Everybody go sub to @Zero Control. Now, when you get down here, you start to see all these lines coming from it, especially the big one. Where's that big one at? Where's that big one? Can't even see it anymore. It seems like they've taken it away. Am I at the right one? Or is this a different one? Is there another one? Is that? Maybe that's it. That's a big one too. Let me double check something here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. No, that's it right there. That line, see, it's just not as prominent. Let's find out if I'm looking at other ones. There's one up here. There's one. Where's that other circular dike? Maybe it's a totally different one. Is it way up here? Because the one I'm talking about, I'm not even seeing it. Where's the other circular dikes? I just thought it was over here. It's been a while. It must be that one. That's the one that's so prominent, right? Let's just take a look down here and make sure there's not another prominent one I'm forgetting. Because I don't see that main ridge. Look at all these lines down here. I know everybody says that they're natural, but to me, that's a sticking out. That's a shotgun. I don't think so. That's not the way mountains are created in general. They seem to match volcanic dikes. Look at this little circle here. What's up with that? Is that how a volcanic dike forms? I don't think so. And yeah, I think that this was advanced. Look at how it goes down here. Wow. Let's get this bigger. Can I do this? Let's try that. I'm looking for that circle. And there's another ellipse. You see a lot of those in the Atlas Mountains. These little things with a structure. Totally not circular, but looks created. That's the south end of the island. So if things have changed in my original understanding of this, I thought it was a dike that had a solid foundation. Look at this one in the middle here. You see two little circles there. And look at all these weird ridges. I'd call them transport roads, but they almost look natural. Look how terraformed that whole area looks. And one thing I want to say about, let's just take a look up here. Madagascar. When you zoom into about here and you get into these things, you see a lot of collapsed structures. And to me, that means that it's not the original form. I'm going to get into a few once I find what I'm talking about. It's been a long time since I've done this, so it's been years. But when you get in here, let me get a little closer because I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When you see like this little structure collapsed, from water erosion, and by the way, right on the other side you can see one. It's like interesting that you have it happening on two sides like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. But look over here. See how many landslides and collapses have there been in this area? What I'm seeing is a lot more than other areas that I've looked at. And in my opinion, that means that they put, and when I say they, new material was spread out over it all. And because it was new, it didn't have a chance to become bedrock, and it got weak and it washed away. I wish I could find exactly what I was talking about. I'm going to give it one more try. Let's go in here. What's that thing? Definitely amazing stuff. I'd like to go there. You don't hear, see, when you see this, like this, that right there, and there's just so many of them. You don't see that everywhere. And I have to be honest, I'm not trying to say it's that special, but and it could still be natural. Last chance to look at the circle, which is down here, and see what's missing is that long, huge. See, what we have is a river going across here, and there was a long dike going across the river coming from that ridge. It's not prominent anymore, and I have to literally, I actually thought it was a cut. I think that Zero Control thought it was a cut coming from this ridge going straight down. Now it's just gone. It's just weird how it's gone. I think we can move this back over here and look at it over here. We'll go up there. And where is it? So it must be, one of them was just so shiny, and now we're seeing a bunch of them. It must have been either this one or this long one right here. And now none of them are showing. I feel like I'm looking at the wrong one. You do see the river, and this is something that we have everywhere around the world. If you go to the Rocky Mountains, you see a lot of these lines going across rivers. They were definitely terraformed there to control the rivers. In my opinion, you see ridges going across rivers like that, perpendicularly shaped. Yes, those are called damming activity. We can see that at the Richat Structure. We'll go to the Richat Structure real quick. I'm kind of getting over this, and maybe this is going to be a part one of 2 parts because I got to go to work. Let me just get into the Richat Structure real quick. It's right there if you can't see it. Let me max this out since it's not matching what's over there. And what you can see in the newer LiDAR scans, and this is a little prominent now, is that this used to be damming activity going across here. And we have a north-south one going up and down across the river here. Where are we? There's the Richat Structure. And then we even have this one that's literally, you can barely see it here. That's why we need to get Google Earth involved. Let's just bring it over here and close that. Because I've been looking at this for a long time. If you didn't know it, I've been Google Earthing since right when, back in the 2000. I almost turned off my whole power strip. I got to be careful about that. So what I just showed you was this line going across here, and then an up-down line going here. You can really see it in the LiDAR images. But there's this line over here that goes across from two water systems, from this water system to this water system. And I kind of feel that it also went up and went straight across up here, possibly to this other water system over here. I could be wrong, but you can see it right here. You can see that line I just showed you going through from here up to here. I would say that's an artifact line going east-west. That's the donut, or the Simsiat dome. And then it goes up to here. I believe it's been eroded away. The straight up down, this one over here. What the heck is with this long line here? It seems like it was part of a major thing that got, well, if you don't know, this is the reason the water doesn't flow from the Richat Structure. No water leaves the Richat Structure. And I believe that this right here stops this Wadan River coming out into the open air and flowing to the Atlantic Ocean. Instead, the Wadan River flows into the Richat Structure. You can see these little cuts here and here going across there. I think that means something. Also, the mouth of the Richat is a big question. The edge of the Richat Structure is here. The 45 up here, but this mouth here, how did that get created to begin with? If this is natural, I mean, I do believe that the whole structure itself started as unnatural, because that's what the Egyptians told Solon, that this was a natural formation that generations of kings gradually changed according to Plato's writing. Look at that line here. Look at this line here. I do think that there was some kind of a system. According to Plato, there was an underground tunnel canal that entered. So perhaps this was covered over. And what would that mean? That would mean that people, okay, so that under canal, that would go here. I don't know. Maybe there's water on top of it, so it couldn't be accessed. Because it sounds like there was a bridge just going across. It was a canal that was covered. So therefore, it's part canal, part bridge. But not if the water was on top of it too, and it couldn't be accessed that way. And it certainly is high enough. There's 800 feet difference. Well, guys, I'm almost out of here. Last chance to ask any new comments. Rebirth of the World commented 40 minutes ago. There's other stuff I want to show. This is part one now. This is part one. And I say that because I want to show more stuff around the world, global evidence. Let me give you just a peek. I mean, sometimes we can look at the thing happening here. Let me just go to Google Earth. Yeah, there's so many questions, right, about everything. And I'm not claiming to know everything, but I am asking questions. I've always been that person. And if you say I'm just asking questions, don't say, oh, that's a logical fallacy, David Miano. Okay, Argentina. Oops, I'm losing control. I'm losing control. You know, you always find stuff in the mountain areas. Argentina has some right around here, some ridges. It's hard for me to just zoom in and find, but I might get lucky. I think it's above here, right here. Yeah, something like that. There they are. And yes, they're controlling water. And when you look at this stuff, and there's an interesting mound on the top of that mountain, you can see lots of little ones along the river coming from the mountain. Over here as well, we'll take a close look. This look right here, you see that look so much up in Utah and Colorado. Turns out that Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico place is right on a ridge. Take a look at Jeffrey Epstein's place on Caltapo. I'm not going to do it right now, but Nikki Anna Jones is the one who pointed it out to me. I've already put it in my my, what do you call it? Was this Atlantis? But I don't label it as Jeffrey Epstein's place. I just think it's really funny the way it looks when you see these ridges, and the higher points have this eroded away look, like it's a different color. It looks like somebody polished it or rubbed up against it until the dirt was worn off or something. And then here you can see it go down to where the river is. And that's the question I asked earlier. Are they literally going down and allowing the water to pass right here? Or were they actually, was it breached? It doesn't look like a breach to me. And I can show you more examples. I'm going to show you more examples of this in the next video. This is the one in Argentina, but I can show you, and this is all around this mountain over here on the other side as well. There's some other ridges. We'll look at the topographical, and then you see something like this happening out here, and it's like, that just doesn't look right to me. Like, what happened out here to make these fingers? Are those just rivers? Okay, maybe those are rivers, so there's more development in agriculture, or maybe not. I don't know. This looks pretty solid, like there's agriculture everywhere. Unlike, yeah, everywhere. Look at that. Look at all that farmland. Look at this straight line. Is that a river? When you see lakes in a row like that, just like up in Canada, I question that. You have lakes up here that are doing the same thing. They're all in a row. Look at these sometime. I know it's not perfect, but all these lakes are in one line. And I do believe that, of course, the ice sheet covered all this area and even into the United States. I believe that these two ice sheets did exist. I don't question that. I believe that that's what caused the part of the flood. I don't think that that's what caused the flood that caused Noah trouble. Noah was over here. So anything that Noah was doing, the flood had to come from an ice sheet here, right? Obviously. Newman said that, obviously. We're not going to hurt the dog, obviously. Okay, last thing I'll show you before I get out of here. Last chance for some comments. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, criticizing, questioning. New Mexico, right? I was saying this earlier, but I never went there. Up here by Lake Huron, there's a bunch of smaller ridges. There's the Lake Huron, right? And right south of that, you've got some questionable lines that are terracing the plateau right here. There's about 3 of them. Those are ridges. I think they were controlling this river, the Rio Chama. Rio Chama is right south of the Heron Lake River. But those aren't the only ones. The other ones are kind of going, wait a minute, let me just get my, there it is, over here. Look at the city of Dulce. This river system here. This is one of the longest ridges that I found. I really question this one right here. Let's just go here with the Caltapo. Let me just grab this and fly here, get info. I'm going to go here. I want to go here, but just so you know, you can't see anything from the ground. You're not able to see anything from the ground. Let me just put this in here, hit the enter key, and then it'll zoom us right in there. As you see, this is controlling a river system. 4 parallel ridges controlling, which river is it? What's the name of this river? It's not a river. John Mills Lake, which it looks dry. It's not even a river, it's a road. I always assume it's a river. There must have been something going on here water-wise. So there was a dry lake bed, so you know there was water. John Mills Lake was right here. probably sometimes gets some water, but you can see the ridges. Oh, and John Mills Lake just happens to be between the two ridges. There's more than just 4 here. And this long one, let's get in here and look at the topography. So now we're finding out that's not a modern day river, but you can tell that's a dry river bed. Just by the topography, you can tell that a river ran through it. And we've got another ridge over here, but this long one, this one goes for about 13 miles. It goes across this other river here and this other river over here. So guys, just want to let you know, somebody, look, there's more. And that's not the one, the Epstein's, can we get the Epstein's New Mexico coordinates? Epstein, try again. You know what? I don't think I can use my microphone. So let me just type it in. Epstein's. Oh, I can't type. Epstein's New Mexico. It's not even popping up. I have to put in Mexico. Okay, it's not even popping up. Zorro Ranch. Okay, here we go. Zorro Ranch. There it is. All right, let's get the coordinates copied. I'm not even showing you. Show you what I'm. Whoops. Doing a great job. Now I have to sneeze. Okay. I thought I copied the coordinates, but instead, I got to sneeze, guys, and I don't want to reach the microphone. Pardon me. All right, let's copy these coordinates again. Copy. Okay, that's not really the way it's going to work, though. We got to copy the text, so we're going to copy it this way. Usually when I right-click on it, it goes there. All right, let's go now to the location of Zorro Ranch, New Mexico. And take a look at that ridge. Now, I guess it's a lot bigger showing the center right in the middle here. There's the center of it. But from my understanding, it was actually closer to the ridge. We're going to have to look at this underneath Google Earth, I guess, and see. And hit the enter button, and then we will zoom on over. All right, there you go. There's Zorro Ranch. You can see the, where's that? Oh, looks like they're going over the concentric circles. That used to be concentric circles there that looked like Atlantis. Interesting that those are gone now. Looks like they're just, well, we can look at the history. Let's look at the historical view of that. Okay, and then we'll go back in history and see what we can see. Yep, there it is. See, they tore it up. Was that the Atlantis? Not exactly, and I can tell you why, because if you know anything about the center island, which was 4 stadia wide, then it had 1 stadia of water, and then 2 stadias of land. No, I take that back. 1 stadia of water, 1 stadia of land, 2 stadias of water, 2 stadias of land. You're not seeing that here. So don't get tricked. Where's my comments? Come on, guys. I'm looking for some comments. So yeah, this picture was 2019. I think that was before Epstein was arrested and put in jail. There you go. It's funny because it's all messed up again. Let's see if it looks any different in the past. And there, it's gone. 2014, that didn't even exist. So what do you think that was all about? And then here, and then here. And we don't know exactly when that was started. We just know it during 2019 satellite scans. And now it's been raised over in 2023. And now it's 2026. So we don't even know what's going on now. Interesting, though, that somebody found those concentric circles. Yeah. All right, let's get out of the historical and zoom back out and see where it sits on the ridge. That's what I care about. See, it is on top of that. It's on top of this. Yeah, it's not very close to the ridge, Nikki Anna. No, I'm just joking. See, this was an ancient damming activity. And you can see how all these breaches, I think those are breaches. 1 breach, 2 breach, 3 breach, and then it's over anyways. Oh, you can kind of see a start stop. I call that a start stop right there. And in my opinion, that's where they wanted the water to go through. Or they were allowing water to go through right there, because if it gets too high, it's gonna create a big lake. I don't really see a lake here. I think the main river is here. So I don't understand why the damming activity, maybe it was washed away 100%. Maybe this last part right here got washed away, because you would think that they would have continued. Let's see if we can find anything out here. Anything at all. Any signs. We're just going to look at the angle right here. It probably would have been right about there. Not seeing anything, huh? Okay. Well, guys, I got like another 5 minutes and I got to get out of here. Last chance to comment. Thank you for joining. I'm going to finish this up. Here's another ridge going across here. We can call that damming activity. Tom Ford Ranch. Tom Ford is the guy who makes clothes, right? He's a fashion designer. So maybe you can go get some free Tom Ford merch. There's another dam up here. Same river. Okay, don't tell me that's natural. And look how Placer Mountain. And what does placer mean? Placer mining. One last thing that I should say is that when I showed you the Madagascar circular dike, look at how there's two mounds right here. Look at those two, and that one kind of is similar to this. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to stop talking, guys. I'm flabbergasted. Flabbergasted. There's lots of stuff going on here. Here it is again. Let's look at it again under the... So I showed you there's two dams along this river there, and then these two structures here. Well, those look totally different from... are they even the same ones? I thought over here we see a ridge. You see a ridge going through here. And isn't it interesting how they're always connected? Look at that mound. That's not really a mountain or a hill, is it? That's like a total mound. There's lots of stuff going on. We out, guys. I got to go. Thanks for... oh, look, Josh the Ancient just showed up. Thank you, Josh the Ancient, for making an appearance right before it's all over. Thank you so much. I met Josh the Ancient, not just at Cosmic Summit, but in Scottsdale, Arizona. Go check out his channel. And he shows a lot of stuff down in South America and Mexico. Porque habla español muy bien. Later, guys. I'm out. I'm out.